The safest thing you can do is take risks. The riskiest thing you can do is play it safe. I want you to think about that, because this is actually a great, great statement by Seth Godin that shows what's the reality of our world today. We live in a world in which if you play it safe, if you take it easy, if you wait for something to happen, you are going to lose. You're going to be in deep trouble. Taking risks, it's extremely important now. And the reality about taking risks, I'm not talking about doing something stupid or something reckless. I'm talking about actually, not playing it safe. I'm talking about going for it. Because you are where you are not because of luck. You are where you are because you took risks others were not willing to take. That's the reality today. And this is applicable for your career, this is applicable for your business, this is applicable for everything. So you need to take risks. Now, the reality about taking risk is also the fact that you need to embrace change. Change is the reality, change is the norm of business today. I used to say that the world has changed, but the reality is that it's constantly changing all the time. But the thing about change is that people hate change. People don't like change. You know who are the only people that like change? Babies with wet diapers. That's it. Everybody else hates change. And that's the reality today. But the reality is that change is imminent, and change is essential to survival. And a lot of companies, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startups are having problems with it because they are not willing to change. Tim Brown, the CEO of IDEO, once said that we are at a critical point where rapid change is forcing us to look not just at new ways of solving problems, but to new problems to solve. Rapid change. New ways of solving problems, new problems to solve. Now, every time we start talking about new problems, new solutions, we start thinking about we need new strategies, we need new ideas, new products. And every time we start talking about new, one word comes to mind: innovation. Oh. Now, innovation has become a sort of a buzzword, and I'm not going to here to talk about what's innovation and what is not, because we can talk about hours about innovation. But the reality, what I see as a problem is that most organizations think that innovation is what I call incremental ideas, right? You have a problem, you have a product, and then you make a small incremental improvement. You make the product a little bit better, or a little bit faster, or a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner, and that's, there you go, you are innovative, right? And if you think about it, that's what most companies are doing today. And up to a certain point, it's not bad. But the problem is if that's the only thing you're doing, two things could happen. One, this might lead you into a path in which sooner or later you might not be able to get the product a little bit better or a little bit faster. And the second problem is that out of nowhere, a new player in the market might come and kick your ass. And if you think about it, this is exactly what happened to the record industry. The record industry for many years focused on the product, focused on going from CDs to owning the CDs, to maybe owning the MP3 files, buying, owning the product. But what is happening is that we have gone through this shift from owning products to actually having access to the experience. So today, thanks to services like Spotify, I don't need to own the file. I don't need to own the CD. I can just have access to it. And if you think about it, this is something that is happening more and more. Today, I don't have to own an apartment in Paris. But thanks to Airbnb, I can go to Paris and I can spend a week in a beautiful apartment over there. I don't need a beautiful black Mercedes-Benz. But thanks to Uber, I can access the experience. So this is something very important, because these companies are the ones that are creating a very disruptive situation in the market. But I want to avoid this to right away start focusing on technology. It's not about technology. It's about your thinking. Brian Solis once said, innovation doesn't always correlate to technology. Most of the time, it starts with perspective, seeing things differently. That's what I want to focus about today. If you start seeing things differently, you start thinking differently, this is going to lead you to some disruptive thinking. Disruptive thinking is changing the way you think about the competition and about the business you are in. In other words, taking your product, your service, your business in a completely different direction. And if you take your business in a different direction, this means when you are competing, you are winning not by doing things better or a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller, but actually you win by doing things differently. And I'm not just talking about the product, I'm not just talking about features, I'm talking about your entire business model. You need to understand what is it that you do, how you do it, what are your partners, the whole structure of everything you do, and then figure out how to do things differently so you are able to add more value. And to give you an idea what I'm talking about, let's talk about socks. What do you expect when you buy socks? You expect that they match, and you expect that they come in pairs, right? Well, there is a company in the US called Little Mismatch. And this is a company that many years ago asked themselves, what if we sell socks in packages of 3 and none of them match? I see your faces. You're like, that's this stupid idea. Well, this is a multi-million-dollar business. They are killing it. Why? 8 to 12-year-old girls love these socks. They are going crazy. They buy, tons and tons of packages, and they are doing really, really well. Today, they are not only selling socks. Today, they are selling toys. They are selling bed sheets, furniture, bicycles, clothing. Multi-million-dollar business. And everything started because they started to do things differently. That's what I'm talking about. Now, creating a business like this is not just about having a crazy idea and going for it, but actually having a clear understanding of design. Design is extremely important, and the problem is that most people think that design is how things look, right? The aesthetics. But the reality is design goes much, much deeper than that. I'm going to go back to Seth Godin. He said once that design is learning how to see. It's figuring out where the opportunities really are. It's seeing the gap and visualizing in advance what is going to work. That's design. And to explain it better, let's give a good example. Dartmouth University. Dartmouth University is a university in the US that many, many years ago, they asked an architect to design the main paths in the campus so students could walk around. And normally what an architect would have done is right away, go to his studio, sit down and start thinking, coming up with a nice, beautiful design. But this guy actually did something different. What he said, okay, I'll take the job, but I will start until after the winter. They said, okay, that's weird, but okay, you're the boss. What happened? Winter came, snow fell, and what he did, he went to the highest tower in the campus, and he looked down at the footprints left by the students. And based on those footprints, he designed the entire paths of the campus. If you think about it, this is user experience at its best. It's developing and designing, putting people first. It's not about the aesthetics, or it's not about what you think is going to work, but it's actually focusing on the users and the needs of your users. That's the main concept of human-centered design. Looking at behaviors, understanding behaviors. And this is what I think is the most important, and this is when I think that most of the startups make the biggest mistakes. That right away they think that what I think is the right approach, that's the best way to do the things. But actually, they need to look at behaviors. Because the reality about behaviors is that they are never right or wrong. But they are always meaningful. You might agree with them, you might disagree with them, but they are always important, and you need to understand them, because that's what is going to make the difference. So a good piece of advice, don't focus on technology. Focus on consumer needs, wants, and behaviors. But okay, let's talk about technology, because this is a big part of what we're doing today, the whole digital world. How many of you have heard the word digital? Digital. Question, what the hell is digital? You know, sometimes I hear people saying like, oh, social media and apps and the internet and Facebook and, you know, all this is social media. Okay, all these are elements of digital, but digital is much more than that. All these are elements. What I always like to say is what Greg Johnson would say, that digital is not a medium, but is the era we are in. If you think about it, everything is digital. You are digital. Our world around us is digital. What's happening, there are many disruptive forces that are currently happening today. And these forces are changing everything. We are going right now through a perfect storm. Now, how many of you know what I'm talking about? No, it's not the movie with George Clooney and the big wave, no. It's actually the actual phenomenon known as the perfect storm. The perfect storm happens when three forces collide. I'm talking about warm air, cool air, and tropical moisture. Now, the interesting thing is that we have contact with these forces every day, individually, and everything is fine. But when these three forces get together, stuff like this happens. Powerful stuff. Now, I'm not here to talk about the weather, but what I'm here to tell you is that currently, right now, we are going through a perfect storm, a technological perfect storm. And it's not three forces, but five. They are mobile, social media, data, sensors, and location. And again, every day we have contact with these forces. But what's happening now, all of these forces are converging in your pocket. Your phones are changing everything. Not only phones, your mobile devices. And actually, I think that this is a good opportunity to make a small parenthesis and talk a little bit about mobile. I look at the program and I didn't see not many topics talking about mobile, and I think it's a really important topic. And that's why I wanted to bring it here. You know why it's important? Because 2014 is the year of mobile. Again. How many times have you heard that this is the year of mobile? 2009 is the year of mobile, and 2010, and every single freaking year is the year of mobile, right? No, I'm not going to tell you that now is the year of mobile. What's now is that mobile is no longer a nice to have, but actually it's a mandatory. I don't care which industry you're working. I don't care what's your business. You need to understand mobile, because this is our reality today. Mobile is the biggest platform shift of the last 50 years. And just to give you an idea about the scale of what I'm talking about, according to 60-Second Marketer, there is about 7 billion people in the world. Out of that, we have about 4 billion mobile devices, 4 billion phones. Question, how many people have access to a toothbrush? 3.5 billion people. Now, this says a lot about our dental hygiene, but it says also a lot about the impact of these mobile devices that we're having today. And as I'm talking about this, one thing that I think is really important, when most people think about mobile, they think mobile phones, or they think mobile devices. I don't think that's the right approach. It's not about mobile. It's not about iOS or Android. It's not about the phone itself. It's about mobile. It's not about mobile, it's about mobility. It's about what we can do thanks to these devices. The fact that today I can go wherever I want and I can have access to all information, connection with my friends, etc., etc. Because what's happening today, we are starting to develop this relationship with these devices. Think about this, 91% of all mobile phone users have their phones within arm's reach 24/7. Question, how many of you, when you go to bed, you put your phone right next to your head? Everybody, raise your hand, everybody does that. Yeah. We spend more time with our phones than with our spouses. We are starting again to build this relationship with these devices. You know, if one day you leave home and you forget your wallet, you're gonna be okay. You will continue going, and you might ask some friends for some money. You will borrow. You're gonna be fine. Question: if you leave home and you forget your phone, what do? You run back. We feel naked without them, right? And again, what's important is not the device, it's the impact that these devices have on ourselves. Because today, I don't have to go to a place to look for information. I don't have to sit down in front of a computer to have access to the information about a specific product or service. I don't have to go to a place to send an email. I don't have to go to a place to connect with my friends. I can be on the go, and I can do this wherever I am. And what's happening, this is changing our expectations, because we want the information here, and we want the information now. These expectations that I can get where I want in my immediate context and a moment of need, that's what is called mobile man shift. Because what's happening, mobile devices are the bridge between the online world and the real world. As a result, digital has become physical, but also physical has become digital. Think about it. How many of you know Uber? Most of you. Think about it. Uber. Digitally, you are having access to a physical car. You make the order on your phone, a car arrives physically, you sit down on the car, takes you from point A to point B, you leave the car, that whole transaction is done digitally. And this is the direction where the world is going. And this is the direction where we are right now. So think about this. It's not about the device, it's what we can do with these devices. And this is a perfect example of what we call a mobile moment. And this is the key about mobile. This is the key about mobility. A mobile moment is the moment in time when a person pulls out a mobile device to get what she wants immediately in context. And what's happening today is our lives have become a collection of mobile moments in which we pull a mobile device to get something done wherever we are. If we understand these mobile moments, we have the opportunity to engage with our users, with our customers, and have a mobile engagement. Think about it. There are some industries in which a mobile engagement is obvious. Let's talk about, for example, airlines. You're on the go, you need access to your boarding pass, you need access to information, you want to check out what time is your flight, you want to check if it's delayed. This is obvious. And that's why airlines have very complex apps and very good information developed for them. Another industry I will think is that, the financial services, banks. Most of the banks have very well developed applications. Question, what about all these different industries in which it's not as obvious that you need this type of information? What you need to do is you need to manufacture these mobile moments by being helpful and useful. Identify and understand those moments where your customer has a problem, when your customers need something, and develop solutions for them, as opposed to just trying to promote your brand through mobile. This drives me crazy. We have access to amazing technology. We can do so much stuff, and what do? Banners. Why? It's not about promoting yourself, it's not about doing mobile, but actually it's about being helpful and adding value. Great example, Walgreens. Walgreens is a pharmacy chain in the US. That at the beginning when they started, they used mobile, they did what everybody's doing, they make coupons. So you go to the store, you get your coupon, and everybody's doing that. But actually they took it a little bit farther. What they did is they created a little bit more useful and helpful use for the application. So, for example, you can refill your recipe by scanning it. You have mobile coupons, of course. If you go to the store is very big. You can have a map that shows you where are the different specific products that you might be looking for. My favorite one, the pill reminder. How many of you have been sick and you need to take, I don't know, 5 different medicines, and one is every 2 hours, the other one is every 4 hours, then the other one is every 6 hours, then the other one is every 12 hours. It's really hard to remember all this. Here you have everything in one app. And it doesn't have to be medicines bought in this pharmacy. It could be any medicine. But again, being helpful and being useful. That's what I'm talking about. So stop thinking about doing mobile and start thinking about your customers' mobile moments. Because if you identify them and you develop solutions for that specific moment, you are going to start building closer relationship with them. And as I mentioned before, this is very relevant for you because every industry, in every market, in every economy will go through this mobile shift. This is global. This is not the States, this is not Japan, oh, those Korean guys are crazy. No, this is everywhere. And the faster you get there, the faster you're gonna be ahead of the competitors. But okay, let's close that parenthesis on mobile. And let's go back to these disruptive forces. Now, these disruptive forces are having a huge impact on the different technology that we're having access to today. These disruptive technologies are giving us the opportunity to integrate them to our products and to our services in order to create more value. And again, everything is about adding value. And to give you an idea what I'm talking about, let's talk about toilet paper. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about toilet paper? Okay, don't answer that. Bad question. Brands, manufacturers of toilet paper. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about a company that produces toilet paper? How do they promote themselves? Soft. Yeah, you have the kid touching it because it's so soft, and cats. I've seen dogs. Here in Poland, there is ants. What's wrong with you? Animated animals. You have families holding hands, running on the field. They are so happy that the toilet paper is so soft. Every single company is doing the same thing. Everybody.
Now we have one different.
Oh.
That you cannot use your iPhone in toilet.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, one original idea, but most of the people are doing exactly the same thing. That was a great ad, by the way. So what do? If you want to stand out, well, you can do an ad like that, or actually you can focus on adding value. In the States, there's a company called Charmin. Charmin is a company that manufactures toilet paper, and what they did is they created a mobile app. A toilet paper company that created a mobile app. Okay, sounds interesting. The mobile app is called Sit or Squat. And this is an application that gives you the location of public restrooms. So imagine, one day you're walking on the street and, I don't know, you had bad Mexican food, or I don't know, you have small children and they need to go, and you need to go to the restroom. What do? You can run around panicking, asking, strangers for help, and we know that strangers always help. Asking where is McDonald's. There are McDonald's everywhere. That's a solution. So you can do that. You can panic. You can ask for McDonald's, or you can pull up this app. The app gives you the location of the nearest restrooms. Even better, in green it means it's safe, it's clean. You can go. If it's red, avoid, avoid at all costs. This is your average gas station restroom. Not bad, not good. Even better, when you get to the restroom has a profile. And it has ratings. You can put stars. It gives you the information, features of the toilet. You even have a map. There's a website. Wow. Even better, what they did is they built a platform. All the information is created by the users. The users are the ones that every time they discover a new restroom, they add it. They put stars and they rate it. And hundreds of thousands of people are using this app every day. And let me tell you something. If someday this app saves your ass, literally, the next time you're buying toilet paper, chances are that you're going to buy this one. Again, adding value. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, for many years, they have been focusing on the concept of happiness. Now, the thing about happiness is that happiness means something different for different people. And one of the insights that they found is that happiness for teenagers means access to the internet. And in Brazil is a country that has a very, very low level of access to Wi-Fi. So as a result, you have a lot of sad Brazilian teenagers. Boo. So they decided to do something about it. And they came up with an idea. They created something called the happiness refill. The happiness refill is a machine that looks just like a normal refill machine where you will get Coke, but actually what you do is you get this machine, you stick your phone in it, and actually you get free credits for the internet. That's a great brand experience, by the way. You are using all the mechanics to get normal Coke, but now you're getting internet access. What I think is really interesting is the fact that this idea didn't come from a telco company. It came from a water with sugar company. So again, companies doing things differently, trying different things. That's what I'm talking about. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's a great idea. Toilet paper apps. At the end of the day, it's not about ideas. It's about making ideas happen. Because I can guarantee you everybody has great ideas. And everybody has bad ideas. It's not about idea. It's about execution. It's about implementing those ideas. So what I really want you to, what I invite you is to get your hands dirty. If you have an idea, experiment, try, go for it. If it works, awesome, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, get rid of it, but at least now you know. Because what's happening is that people are taking it easy. I really recommend you to develop a sense of urgency. Again, the pace of change is just getting faster and faster and faster. Because if you are this type of people that already understands this new reality, the reality of mobile moments, the reality about digital, this is your time. You are way ahead because most of the companies, most of the corporations, they are too slow. They are afraid of change. They are not willing to try an experiment. And if you are, because some of you might be working in these corporations, in these organizations there, they are too slow to react, you really need to change your mindset. Look at things different and start experimenting. The beauty about digital reality is that experimenting is not as expensive. You can try. And again, you try once, it works, awesome, keep doing it. It doesn't work, okay, now you know. One advice that I always give to my clients is, okay, it's not about making a revolution and all of a sudden changing everything you do. But what you can do is, for example, look at your budget and define, okay, 70% of what you do, keep doing it in the thing that is proven. If let's say marketing, let's say advertising. If advertising on TV works for you, fantastic, keep doing it. But 70% of that into that. Then 20% put it into proving technologies, of proving ways of marketing yourself. It could be, I don't know, internet marketing, it could be content marketing, it could be a mobile app, whatever. But 10% of your budget, put it into creating and testing new models. Something that you've never done before. Because this new business model, maybe they could be your next big project, your next big product in 6 months, in a year. And if in 6 months, in a year, you haven't tried this before and you haven't experimented and tried, you are missing a great opportunity. And by the way, these are methodologies, I'm not that smart, I didn't come up with this. Companies like Coca-Cola, they do something like 60-30-10. There are companies implementing this. But again, you need to embrace change and you need to embrace taking chances. Because again, everything at the end of the day it's about change. I know change is scary, I know people hate change, but guess what? If you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions?
Any questions? Mogą być po polsku? Niespodzianka, mówię po polsku.
Czy są pytania? I po polsku, i po angielsku.
Po polsku, po angielsku, po hiszpańsku? I speak Spanish. Hablo español.
Thank you for a great presentation. My question is, what do you think of Bitcoin, and what are your 3 or 4 favorite applications which you use every day?
What do I think of Bitcoin? Wow. I don't understand it well enough to know that this is the it, and we should go all and put all our money on Bitcoins. But I think that this is a really fascinating thing, stepping in the direction of what I'm talking about. There is instability in the market. Currencies are going up and down, and somebody came up with this idea of actually changing things and making all these currencies variable. So I think it's fascinating, but it's really complicated. I tried to learn about it, and I was just like, so this. About applications, wow, how much time we have? 3 applications, you say. I read a lot. I'm all the time reading and all the time, trying to get new information. So Kindle, I have a Kindle, which allows me to have access to fantastic books. If you tell me a book, I press 2 buttons and I have the book. And that's what I love. Because I live here in Poland, by the way. And to get books in English, what do? You go to the bookstore, you ask if they have it. Yeah, they tell you yes, or they tell you no. If they tell you no, you have to order it. You have to wait 3 weeks. And it costs like 120 zlotys. Now Kindle, $9. And you have it. And there is a mobile app. So very often, as I'm waiting on the tramway or somewhere, I just look at the app and I read. Another app, Get Pocket. Pocket is fantastic. If you read a lot and you look for you do a lot of research and you read a lot of articles, you can bookmark different articles, like this. And everything goes into one platform. It's called Pocket. The website is getpocket.com. That's it.